I've been looking around lately, watching the younger folks, listening to the people I talk to in my line of work, and I've noticed something that's got me genuinely worried. It's this: inability to sit with the struggle. It's a complete lack of tolerance for being bad at something, even for a minute. It used to be that when you started something new, you expected to be the fool. You expected to stumble. But now, if they aren't experts in 5 minutes, they quit. They have zero patience for the sucking part of life. They don't want to toil, they don't want to sweat, and they certainly don't want to fail. They want the trophy without running the race. Now listen, I'm not just here to wag my finger and yell at clouds. It's a concerning predicament, sure, but I want to talk about what they're losing, what they're actually throwing away, when they skip over the hard parts. But I also want to be fair. I get it. I honestly do empathize with why they do it. If I had these gadgets back in the day, who knows? The temptation is everywhere. Let's look at it through the eyes of a 15-year-old kid today. A teacher tells him, "Son, I want you to read Catcher in the Rye. Sit down, read these words on a page, wrestle with the ideas, and then take a blank sheet of paper and write me 5 paragraphs about what it means to you." I can hear the kid now. "Are you kidding me, old man? Why would I suffer through that boredom? Why would I stare at a blank page until my forehead bleeds when I can just tap a button? ChatGPT, write me the essay." Boom. Done. AI does the thinking, the kid gets the grade, and nobody learns a damn thing. "Get away from me with your hard work," they say. "I've got the answer key in my pocket." It's the same story with sports. Why would a young man want to join a team where everyone else has been playing together for 2 years? He walks onto that field. He doesn't know the plays. He's tripping over his own shoelaces, throwing the ball into the dirt. He looks like a jackass. And you know what? It feels terrible to look like a jackass. His ego takes a hit. So he thinks, why bother? I can go home, sit in my air-conditioned room, turn on a video game, and be a hero instantly. I can be the MVP of the universe without breaking a sweat. It's safer, it's easier, it's more fun. And don't get me started on romance. Why go through the terror of walking up to a girl, risking your heart, stammering through a conversation, and maybe, just maybe, getting rejected? That hurts. That builds character, but it hurts. So instead they pull out the phone. They've got a simulated version of intimacy right there. They can swipe, they can look at pictures, they can get that little dopamine hit without ever putting their soul on the line. It scratches the itch, at least for a Friday night. But here is the tragedy, folks. That is the core issue. We are sacrificing a piece of our humanity on the altar of convenience. Every single time we take the shortcut, every time we settle for the counterfeit version because it's easier, we lose something vital. We say, I'll take the fake, it fills the hole for now. The problem is, you eat enough junk food, you forget what a real home-cooked meal tastes like. We're on a steady diet of this artificial nonsense, and we don't even realize we're starving. We don't spend enough time away from these infernal screens to actually think, to have a quiet moment of intentionality, to sit on the porch and ask, what am I doing with my life? Is this who I want to be? We have no perspective anymore because we're just drowning in the noise, moment by moment, swallowing the counterfeit. Social media just pours gasoline on the fire. It's all about the surface. Polish it up, put a filter on it, make it look shiny. It doesn't matter if the engine is busted, as long as the paint job looks good. Just a quick fix. I empathize. I really do. But we aren't talking enough about how deeply detrimental this is to the human soul. I don't know if I have the perfect fancy words for it, but I know what we're leaving behind when we skip the struggle. See, when you actually read that boring book, when you fight through the confusion and the boredom, you're learning discipline. You're learning how to focus your mind. You're figuring out what actually motivates you. And when you sit there with that blank page and you finally squeeze out an original thought, something that came from your brain mixed with those words, that is magic. That is synergy. You created something new. That is a beautiful, transcendent thing that makes you a deeper person. And they're just leaving it on the table. I like to think of it like a garden. You've got this incredible landscape inside of you that could grow the most amazing things. But you can't grow a garden in concrete. You need soil. And the only way to get that rich, dark, fertile soil is through time under tension. It comes from the manure of life. It comes from being the new guy at the boxing gym. The guy who doesn't know how to stand, who gets knocked around, who is embarrassed because the guy next to him is hitting the bag like a freight train while you're tapping it like a feathered duster. You know what I mean, but in that embarrassment, in that failure, you learn something profound. And I don't mean you just learn to throw a left hook. You learn, why am I insecure? Why am I afraid? You learn about brotherhood with the other guys sweating beside you. You learn camaraderie. You answer those big, scary existential questions, not with words, but with grit. You walk out of there knowing yourself. What is a computer going to teach you about your character? Nothing. What is a video game going to teach you about your resilience? Maybe a little. I'll give 'em that. But it ain't the same as life. And the videos on your phone, what are they giving you that's true? What are they putting in your heart that you can carry with you when the lights go out? I don't think they're giving you much of anything. And I worry. I worry for the grandkids. I worry for the young men. And hell, I worry for us old guys, too. It's too easy to give up on who we could be. It's too easy to just hand our potential over to convenience. We do it for the perception, for the aesthetic, for the cheap thrill. We're living a life dictated by dopamine hits instead of purpose. That's not a life I want to live. And I'm trying, Lord knows I'm trying, to break out of it myself. To do things that scare me, to step out of the comfort zone and get my hands dirty again. I don't do it enough. But I'm trying to help the people I talk to understand that the toil is the point. The struggle is the prize. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. What do you fellas think when we hit that easy button, when we choose the shortcut? What part of ourselves are we leaving behind in the dust? I'm genuinely curious.